As a resident assistant at the Center for Talented Youth, we plan sports, talent shows, quiz bowls, water days where we doused nerds with water guns and went face first on slip and slides. We made being a genius the funnest thing you ever done did. These kids love me. And they call me the Big Hat RA because I wear a giant hat to protect me from the sun. And I juggle responsibilities, make sure they got up on time, pick them up from class, took them to breakfast, dinner, make sure they got their meds, played basketball with them, played Brawl Stars and Clash Royale on our mobile phones, and boy, was being a nerd a blast. First group of kids I had, shout out to Cyrus, Bram, Ethan, Alex, Jackson, Caleb, Arnaud, Gabriel, Zhang Long, Chufei, Oscar, and Tony. Some of them will be watching this later and they asked for a shout out. Man, was that group nerdy as all heck, and they were awesome.
Welcome to Nathanael Philip Mosher Has Friends, where I, Nathanael Philip Mosher, introduce you to my talented, wonderful, thoughtful, and engaging friends. Each show is moved forward by an intention in the form of a question shaping the material presented. This show's question was, what is fun to you? This month's guests were Terrence Rutledge, Shon Williams, Kalle Pascal, Nehemiah Williams, Brittany Wilson, and yours truly. The show will be released in parts and ends with a super duper special surprise. You don't want to miss it. Without further ado, welcome to the show.
Welcome to my show. Welcome to my show. Hopefully I'll share with you some things that I don't know. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my friends. One day we'll learn the ways to cut our ties and make amends. Welcome to the show.
This is exit portfolio number 2. Middle school will be a new experience with many challenges. There will be new teachers, new classrooms, a bigger building, and new people. There will be more rooms and hallways to get used to, so there's a high probability of getting lost in the school campus. There will be many things to learn, lots of people to meet, and choices to make. In middle school, homework is assigned by 6 different teachers. All of these things make middle school seem pretty challenging. Setting goals can help me rise to the challenges and to meet my goals in middle school. It is also necessary to set goals in order to achieve the expectations of my teachers, parents, and community. My top 3 goals in middle school are to stay organized, to get into the Scholars Program, and to bring up new scholarly attributes. To me, being organized means keeping my notes clean and easily accessible, prioritizing my time, and managing my activities and schoolwork. Sometimes I have messy notes in a messy backpack. I need to make sure that my notes are legible, filled in an organized fashion, and easy to find when I need them. Since I might be assigned large quantities of homework, I need to get into the habit of saving information for future reference. If I'm not organized, there's a high risk of losing or forgetting my homework. This can adversely result in low grades. As much as I enjoy schoolwork, nerd, I also like to be involved in sports, piano lessons, other programs outside of school, and watch my favorite TV shows. By prioritizing my schedule, I can organize my day to accommodate and manage my activities without sacrificing the quality of my grades at school. Being organized will have a very positive impact on my life in middle school. In middle school, there is a Scholars Program designed to accommodate intellectually advanced students. I would very much like to get into this program. Scholars Programs can help me exercise my growing intellect and hopefully provide me with extra challenge to occupy my free time. Middle school was a chance to go farther on the path to becoming a scholar. The term scholar means an educated person who is a specialist in a particular branch of learning. To be a part of the Scholars Program is important to me because I don't want to be sitting around at home, finished with my homework and doing nothing. I want to be continually challenging myself. Gaining new scholarly attributes will help me not only in middle school but in the future. Being a scholar is being a highly educated person. Being educated can help you earn the opportunity to have a great job and also not struggle to maintain good grades throughout high school and college. To recap, my top 3 goals in middle school are to stay organized, to get into the Scholars Program, and to bring up new scholarly attributes. Meeting these 3 goals will help me in middle school. There are many other scholarly attributes that will help me meet the goals I set for middle school, and I need to have as many as I can to become a scholar, and I'll need to develop them quickly. I sometimes don't ponder enough on subjects so I don't understand them. If I want to understand something in middle school, I'll need to think and ponder more deeply. These are only of the few scholarly attributes I can develop, but as I grow, I will get closer and closer to becoming a scholar. A lot of times my strengths are not enough. When I need help to accomplish something, my immediate community can help me. This includes my friends, my family, my teachers. I can ask teachers to help me with schoolwork that I don't understand, and they will surely help me because that's their job. My family is an integral and important part of the community that I can reach out to all the time. They can give me helpful advice with school, different or difficult situations, problems that may arise, and especially challenges associated with teenage life. My friends can help me get motivated when I'm acting lazy. They can cheer me on to work harder, to be proactive and not procrastinate, to support and encourage me when I need them. Middle school is a very different experience compared to El Raycon. Thinking about goals to set and ways to improve work habits is an important way to prepare. Developing scholarly attributes is another thing to think about. Becoming a scholar means you're a good student and you think about things in different ways. I want to become and act more like a scholar all the time. In middle school, there are a lot of new things to get used to, more things to manage and prioritize. Fortunately, I can always depend on my community to help me where I need them the most. I'm going to bring up Kalle. Come on up to the stage. This is Kalle Pascal. I met Kalle and Kingsley. They're twins. Kingsley's over there on the camera. He's an amazing writer and director. Give it up for Kingsley. Coming up to the stage and set up. Levi, could I get some assistance? Calle's going to be playing some songs for you guys. Play 2 songs. I thought of one, but... Give it up for Kalle Pascal.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to play songs soon. Give it up for Nathan in the show so far. Can you guys hear that? Okay. Alright, my name's Kalle Pascal, and Nathan told me this show's about fun, and he was talking about like being a kid, and this is a song that most of you guys have probably heard when you were a kid, and probably not like this, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm gonna be a mighty king, enemies beware. I've never seen a king or beast with quite so little hair. Gonna be the main event, no king was before. Brushing up, looking down, working on my roar. Never saw another inspiring thing. Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie. Started a long time ago.
think it's time for you and I to change our heart to heart. Kings don't need advice from middle hornbills for a start. This is where the monarchy is headed. Count me out of service, out of Africa. I wouldn't hang about. This child is getting wildly out of wing. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. No one saying do this, no one saying be here, no one saying stop that, no one saying see here. La 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 la. I definitely forgot this whole part, but I just can't wait to be king.
Kalle didn't know he was performing today until he came. Shon couldn't make it. I said, do you want to perform a song? So give it up for Kalle. Then I said you could do 2 songs, and I was like, shoot, time, it's my fault. But Kalle, that was a beautiful song, by the way. Who remembers that movie? Yeah. So I want to hear, what is fun to you? I've known you for a long time, so I'm interested in your answer.
Fun to me is just hanging out with friends, and really when time passes and you don't want it to, you just want to stay in the moment. That's what fun is to me.
Being in the moment.
Being in the moment.
Yeah. Well, give it up for Kalle. Yeah. That's actually what Nehemiah said when we talked about what is fun, being lost in the moment.
If this is your first time joining us at PPDK Productions, we want to thank you for listening and invite you to go ahead and subscribe to our Substack at ppdkproductions.com. That's ppdkproductions.com, and receive 1 free week of life-giving stories, weekly content recaps, and monthly content maps. There is nothing more tragic than a man lacking purpose. That's why we're starting with our stories, because that's what we know. Living to tell the tale is our purpose. We're doing it first, so you can too. Go to ppdkproductions.com and subscribe. If you like what we have to say but don't like how we look, then please consider making a monthly contribution so we can make our stories look beautiful.
I'm trying to finish this story for you guys. So I never did attend the Center for Talented Youth as an 8-year-old super genius. Thank God I didn't, because I would have become an arrogant prick. As a kid, I had a little bit of a superiority complex. If you don't know what that is, then you're stupid. So I was substituting at my old elementary school, and I ran into my first grade teacher, Mrs. Klusak. And I got home that day, and I asked my mom, did I ever get into the Center for Talented Youth program? And she said, yeah, we just couldn't afford to send you. Turns out it cost $6,000 to spend 3 weeks at the Center for Talented Youth and take collegiate level courses at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland. So I applied to work there this summer as a resident assistant so I could learn what it means to be an advanced learner, as it's now called, and teach these nerds how to have fun. So my job was to plan fun things for the kids to do when they weren't in class, taking advanced level courses like astrophysics, special relativity, the mathematics and competitive behavior, global politics, philosophy, engineering, you name it. If nerds like it, CTY's got it. Our job as resident assistants was to show these nerds a good time, and we were not being sarcastic. Normally a bully is like, let's show these nerds a good time, and then he shoves you into a locker. But not us. As a resident assistant at the Center for Talented Youth, we planned sports, talent shows, quiz bowls, water days where we doused nerds with water guns and went face first on slip and slides. We made being a genius the funnest thing you ever done did. These kids love me. And they call me the Big Hat RA because I wear a giant hat to protect me from the sun. And I'd juggle responsibilities, make sure they got up on time, pick them up from class, took them to breakfast, dinner, make sure they got their meds, played basketball with them, played Brawl Stars and Clash Royale on our mobile phones, and boy, was being a nerd a blast. First group of kids I had, shout out to Cyrus, Bram, Ethan, Alex, Jackson, Caleb, Arnaud, Gabriel, Zhang Long, Junpei, Oscar, and Tony. Some of them will be watching this later and they asked for a shout out. Man, was that group nerdy as all heck, and they were awesome. They were taking a class on special relativity. Except Ethan, who was taking economics, and they liked physics, tennis, badminton, late night memes, playing inappropriate card games, and eating Takis and Oreos into the night while laughing up a storm. They were pure genius in adolescent form, and those first 2 weeks were some of the funnest I ever done had in a while. I always wondered what my life would have been like, how different it would have been if I had gone to that summer camp as a kid and been around other gifted children. When I told my friend Rich about the camp, he said it sounded like I was a camp counselor at a camp for young mutants trying to become X-Men and women. And that's what it was like. I learned what it was like to not feel so alien because I was special. Here, everyone was advanced and everyone could keep up. So I started to learn what it was like to slow down and just have fun. And at the end of the first session, we had a big talent show. The kids had been asking about what I did outside of the job during the year. I told them I was a substitute teacher and that I had a lot of other talents I was still trying to figure out how to use properly. Just like them, I was a mutant too. And I didn't know how to use my powers for good yet. So I wrote a piece where I told jokes over the piano, paying homage to the set I did as a high schooler, my talent show at Culver City High School, and tried to communicate what I learned or what it meant to be now gifted and talented. I told them the story of how I ended up at the Center for Talented Youth, and at the end I explained. Got a music cue with it, doesn't it? The Wi-Fi here is really bad. There's the others. Alright, whatever, scrap it. But this is true if you don't know. It's interesting. I found out the word talent was a Roman monetary unit representing nearly 20 years worth of wages. And I hope everyone here uses their talent to make 20 years worth of income and then some, but take it from someone who has made very little money in their life despite their numerous talents. Make sure you have fun doing it, because it took me 20 years to figure that out. I got off stage and some of the kids said, your jokes were hilarious. Another staff said, I love your singing voice. Another kid said, you reminded me of Bo Burnham and I like that guy. One kid as I was walking back to the dorm said, I like your set. It was really funny and not gonna lie, it hit me right here. We get one day off a week. My day off was Sunday at 5 p.m. till Monday at 5 p.m. So I took my break and the next day, about 12 p.m., I get a call from one of the RAs saying, did you hear? A bunch of us are getting fired. I said, what? Am I getting fired too? She laughed and said, no, but a bunch of us got caught drinking late on Saturday night and we're getting terminated effective immediately. I said, how many? She said, all 8 of us. So that Monday we had a staff meeting with 8 less RAs present and we're told that we couldn't tell the kids what happened and neither could the staff who was terminated communicate with any of the other kids. And so we had to round out the end of the session and enter the next with 8 less staff and the same amount of tiny geniuses. The next session came along and they put me with 14 kids, my co-RA with 18, which meant that when he had his day off, I had to handle 32 kids all on my own. And one of those kids even had, we say, extra special needs. Not only was he a genius, but he was also retarded. Okay, jeez. Can't cancel me on that one. Because genius and retarded literally cancel each other out. So if you do the math, he was normal and I didn't really say anything at all. Okay, I really bailed on that one. I did not commit to that joke. The kid had autism. And more importantly, he couldn't get out of the bed in the morning. He was a sweet kid who was addicted to technology, a flight risk, and couldn't wake up no matter how much he asked you to move him, and I was overwhelmed beyond measure. The second session were a great group of kids. Shout out to Yash, Alex, Max, Arjun, John, Hero, Julian, Shrey, Jaden, Levi, Brian, Owen, Ari, Brian, and honorary mention Veer, the brother of one of my kids who would hang out with us. These kids were taking mathematics of competitive behavior, otherwise known as gambling. And they were like slick nerds who were also athletic and talked about getting females. I remember one of them literally said, he's like, I got someone on the side, she's like my insurance policy. I thought, I don't think this kid knows what insurance is. Because insurance is supposed to be stable. If Allstate finds out you've been cheating on them with farmers, they might burn your house down. Because they're not a good insurance policy. That's reserved for marriage. Between sessions, I took a trip with one of the RAs to New York City, which I hadn't been to since I did an internship there when I was 21 and made it to the semifinals of the NBC Stand Up for Diversity Showcase. One of the reasons I wanted to go to the East Coast was so that I could also visit friends and family in DC, Boston, go back to New York and see my niece and cousins out in Philly. I planned it so I turned 29 in New York City. I was the oldest RA. Most of them were college age and couldn't believe I was turning 29. One of the kids said, "You're the same age my dad was when he had me." I started to feel old. Tyler, a teaching assistant with a southern drawl from Alabama, asked me, "Why you ain't married yet? Is it because you too goofy?" I said, "No, it's because I've been sinning too much." A few months back, my relationship of 3 years ended, and I've been mourning the loss of my best friend who really knew a lot about having fun. She did things like scuba diving and skiing and underwater photography and traveling the world in capoeira. Her capoeira nickname in Portuguese was sorriso, meaning smile. I was attracted to her because everything she did was so fun, and everything I had done in the past was so nerdy. I thought if I could just be around her, maybe I could, as Sheryl Crow once said, soak up the fun. She could never say yes or no to anything. She was non-committal. She could only say potentially, maybe, or probably. For her, potentially meant 25% likely, maybe was about 50%, and potentially was about 75%, give or take, depending on the mathematics of her competitive behavior, otherwise known as gambling. But all relationships are a gamble. Whenever I go to weddings and I hear the bride and the groom talk about each other, they always say the same thing. So-and-so is the most selfless, giving, beautiful person I know. And I always think to myself, that can't be true about everybody. Somebody's got to suck. Not everyone is smart and hot and matters. But I think it's always true. Because giving yourself fully to anyone makes you into the most of what you can be. On your own, it might be 25% likely that you can reach your potential, but if you maybe go all in, you're probably going to suck a little bit less. At the end of the session, I would take the kids out to a fancy dinner, and I'd pay for some of the appetizers, and as I found myself finally at the end of an arduous, difficult session, I sat with them, letting time pass by, realizing that I had spent the last 2 hours laughing and joking with a bunch of teenagers who were not my own. I liked these kids, but I didn't love them. But I knew one day I'll have my own, and I'll love them more deeply than I can ever know. I think your dog is never as happy as you are with your dog. I think your lover is never as loved as you are with your lover. Your child is never as innocent as you are with your child. Fun is only experienced in a relationship. I think the Christian life is about learning to love despite the limitations of being painfully human. And nothing epitomizes that more than Jesus on the cross saying, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." I should have known this summer was going to be a spiritual test because I flew in on Spirit Airlines. Nothing will test your spirit more than Spirit Airlines. No Wi-Fi, no snacks, and absolutely no leg room. Now, Jesus on the cross, he 100% had no leg room because his feet were nailed down in place, and yet he still loved and forgave. Now, I have a long way to go. There are moments on that plane I was wishing it went down with everybody on it just so I wouldn't have to bear one more moment of bearing my cross on Spirit Airlines. I left Baltimore to go to D.C., and in D.C., I went to the Holocaust Museum, and I thought maybe my experience at camp wasn't so bad. And as I took a train from DC to Boston to visit two of my spiritual mentors, Jonathan M. and George Fountain III, I came in on a train and realized I boarded the wrong one. So instead of being angry, I took it in stride and paid the extra fee to upgrade from business class back down to coach. And as I was on the new and correct train, the train screeched to a halt to rescue the passengers of another train that had broken down. And the train that had broken down was the original Acela business class train I had previously purchased tickets for, that now had to evacuate all their passengers onto our regular, slow Amtrak train. While on the train, I took the extra time to work on what is now going to become PPDK Productions, that we'll talk about later. While I was sitting there, I got to speak with a man named Patrick. And in the middle of the conversation, he said, "You're not like other Christians. You're so open and kind." Another lady came by and sat next to us and notified me that I could get a refund for the train I was originally on and get a travel voucher for the current train we were on, which was experiencing delays. Sometimes you can get to your destination faster, but it's going to cost a lot more. Or maybe you can get there slowly, potentially have a little fun connecting with somebody. Maybe get your money back in the end and probably learn to suck a little bit less. In 4th grade, I wouldn't pay attention. I would read Hardy Boys all day. One day, my teacher, Mrs. Ames, called it out. She said, "You're not paying any attention." So I went up to the board and answered every single question perfectly. She realized I was gifted and told me to apply for the Center for Talented Youth at Johns Hopkins. I got in, but I couldn't go because it cost too much. I probably could have skipped grades, but my mom didn't want it to affect me socially. Now I make very little money, and I'm one of the most outgoing people any of my friends know. I'm not trying to brag by saying this, I'm just trying to say how little it all mattered. I'm up here trying to tell jokes again. There's nothing more humbling than this. I should probably be designing spaceships or algorithms to predict where the stock market will be in 10 years. I shouldn't be a substitute teacher, and I shouldn't be a comedian, but I am. Because my biggest talent is teaching people who know too much how to slow down and have a little fun.
We love telling stories in person, and we're doing that live on stage in front of a crowd in my living room in Culver City on February 1st. We're taping a show called In Pursuit of Awe. The story of two exceptionally gifted, yet exceptionally sensitive men seeking to live a life well lived. Hear the personal testimonies of Nathanael Philip Abad Mosher and Nehemiah Williams as they navigate through thick and thin, seeking God along the way, performing music, poetry, jokes, and stories. Find out more at ppdkproductions.com about what we're up to, and get your tickets at our website and click on the tab Live Shows. That's ppdkproductions.com.
Next week on Nathanael Philip Mosher Has Friends, Nehemiah Williams takes the stage to find a new partner in creating joy and fun, and we welcome a huge surprise. Find out the true meaning of friendship on next week's episode of Nathanael Philip Mosher Has Friends. Pick up the call, take up your sword, and go on the adventure of a lifetime. This has been a PPDK Productions original. Follow us as we climb the tallest mountains, slay the fiercest dragons, and pursue the highest good while confronting the greatest evil we've ever known. Join us at ppdkproductions.com. Press play on your purpose.
Press play on your purpose.